Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Alien Protocols, the Advanced Protocols Data Project. Well, recently we got an article sent to us from one of our subscribers, and it was a really interesting article about some of the newer findings about the microwave attacks on U.S. embassy personnel in Cuba. And this article wasn't about the ones in China also, but just the ones in Cuba and a bunch of the medical results. And although these results have come in before and they've done multiple studies, it was just really interesting to think about this, especially in terms of what we learned recently about all of those people who've been exposed in close range to AAVs have received a lot of microwave damage. But not just microwave damage, it seemed to be a cluster, a bunch of different symptoms all at once. And they determined that it was pulsed microwaves, high millimeter waves, and then also gamma rays. And so, of course, we made the supposition that this was a U.S. craft of some kind, some sort of human-made anti-gravity craft, and that the microwaves are to resonate the lattice structure to get the, in the hull, to get the anti-gravity effect, to decouple from gravity, like that a piece of metamaterial to the stars. And then the gamma rays would come from the power system to power that tremendous amount of terahertz that have to go through the material in order to make it uncouple from gravity. But unfortunately, when you have a nuclear power source, it kicks off radiation, and all radioactive power plants need a lot of shielding. But if you have an anti-gravity craft, you don't want all that weight. So we believe the reason why they're getting the microwaves and the gamma rays, the microwaves could be potentially from this anti-gravity aspect, and then the gamma rays could be from the power system. But there's also another possibility. It could be a weapon. It could be a weapon designed to have multiple different effects that combine sonic with gamma rays and microwaves. So you have sonic damage, like the RAD, the LRAD, that the police forces around the world use, that dish and it blasts you with it. I've been blasted with it when I was part of Occupy Wall Street, which was fun. Sleeping at Liberty Plaza there with kids and families. The first month when it felt real patriotic and American, and then it got kind of undermined and weird. But so these electronic devices and attacks lately are very fascinating. And there were some in Cuba as well, too. And I want to just show you guys some of the science behind this stuff because it's really weird and interesting. Okay, first, let's go over here. This was the first article that I got about it that the friend sent me. And it was talking about these attacks in Cuba and what the researchers found. And what the researchers found was really interesting. The symptoms seem to match the UFO damage symptoms, which is really weird, isn't it, gang? I want to see the MRIs of these people damaged by the Cuban attacks. I've been looking for them and I can't find them yet. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but because it's personal information, I'm sure it's more difficult to find. But if they look like the MRIs of the UFO damage, there might be something going on here. It could just be, coincidence. The government has a weapon that has multiple different forms of invisible attack, and these UFOs just happen to kick off this stuff. So there's a lot of mysteries intertwined in here, and I'm making a lot of conjectures, but of course they're based on logic and science and evidence. And I'd love to hear what you guys think on all this stuff. The Wall Street Journal has spoken about it. The Washington Post has this article right here that's very interesting on the subject. And these sickened people, they have really major damages. I mean, this is everything from the ability to walk to emotional stuff. It's almost as if they had major head trauma. It's very, very serious. And so I have this study that goes through all the different types of damage they have, from, memory loss to just so many different things, and they charted it out very well, and their moods even. And so it's fascinating, gang, and I'm still really curious. Are tiny little invisible UFOs flying around these embassies, and because of their invisibility and their power source, they're affecting people? Or just behind the wall or in a van nearby, they have a device that's blasting people just to see what happens? Well, if you look at history, there's a long history of people blasting each other, enemies blasting each other with these invisible waves. There's a famous giant antenna array the Russians put out many years ago called the Woodpecker. And I think the final I'm not sure if this is conspiracy or not, but I think the final analysis was that they were trying to see if it affected people. And now there's another case in Russia going on where they believe the U.S. embassy is being attacked with some of these microwaves and stuff like that. And you can imagine it might be tempting for a foreign agency enemy to set up devices that slowly injure the participants inside. That might be something a real sick, heartless, sociopathic nation might do to their enemy. Us humans, we are a mixed bag, aren't we? Anyway, gang, what do you think about all this microwave and gamma ray stuff and how these symptoms seem to kind of line up? Is it just coincidence to you guys? I'm not really sure. I think it could be, or could all be indicative of government stuff all the way around. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this mystery. Much love to you and yours.